Melania Trump exhibits three distinct types of psychopathic behavior: violent, covetous, and moralistic saint. Let's cover the violent aspects of her psychopathy first. Especially distinctive is this type of psychopath's tyrannical desires, is their willingness to go out of the way to be unmerciful and inhumane. Often calculating and cool, these psychopaths are selective in their choice of victims, identifying individuals who are likely to submit rather than to react with counter-violence. Quite frequently, they display a disproportionate level of abusiveness and intimidation in order to impress not only their victims, but those who observe the psychopath's unconstrained power. More than any other type, these individuals derive deep satisfaction in creating suffering and in seeing its effect on others. In contrast to the explosive psychopaths, for whom hostility serves primarily as a discharge of pent-up feelings, the tyrannical psychopaths employ violence instrumentally as a means to inspire terror and intimidation. These experiences then become the object of self-conscious reflection, providing the psychopaths with a sense of deep satisfaction. This psychopath has often turned into a demon. Their objective is often watching us dangle while they inflict emotional, verbal, and occasional physical cruelty. Their enjoyment is all too obvious. She may be a sexual sadomaso or sadomasochist. Women, children, men, the elderly, and even animals, anyone with any vulnerabilities are her target. Let's cover the covetous aspects of her psychopathy next. In the covetous psychopath, we see a distilled form of an essential feature of the DSM's antisocial personality disorder and the ICD's cis-social personality disorder, aggrandizement. Aggrandizement means to enhance the reputation of someone beyond what is justified by the facts. These individuals feel that life has not given them their due, that they have been deprived of their rightful level of love, support, or material rewards, that others have received more than their share, and that they personally were never given the bounties of the good life. Thus, they are driven by envy and a desire for retribution, a wish to take back what they have been deprived of by destiny. Through acts of theft or destruction, they compensate themselves for the emptiness of their own lives, dismissing with smug entitlement their violations of the social order. They act on the rationalization that they alone must restore the karmic imbalance with which life has burdened them. For those who are merely somewhat resentful, and for whom some conscious controls remain intact, small transgressions and petty acquisitions often suffice to blunt the expression of more extreme characteristics. For the more severely disordered, like Melania, however, the usurpation of others' earned achievements and possessions becomes the highest reward. Here, the pleasure lies in taking rather than in having, like hungry animals pursuing prey. Covetous psychopaths have an enormous drive, a rapaciousness. They manipulate others and treat them as pawns in their power games. Although they have little compassion for the effects of their behaviors, feeling little or no guilt for their actions, they remain at heart quite insecure about their power and their possessions. They never feel that enough has been acquired to make up for earlier deprivations. Regardless of their achievements, they remain ever jealous and envious, pushy and greedy, presenting ostentatious displays of materialism and conspicuous consumption. For the most part, they are completely self-centered and self-indulgent, often profligate and wasteful, unwilling to share with others for fear that they will take again what they so desperately desired in early life. Melania apparently feels she needs to be the sexiest woman alive to make up for a perceived lack of love she experienced in her early life. Hence, such psychopaths never achieve a deep sense of contentment. They feel unfulfilled, empty, and forlorn. regardless of their successes, and remain forever dissatisfied and insatiable, believing they will continue to be deprived. These psychopaths show minimal empathy for those who they exploit and deceive. Some may become successful entrepreneurs, exploiters of others as objects to satisfy their desires. Here, an active exploitiveness manifested through greed and the appropriation of others' possessions, like Gail's pubes, becomes a central motivating force. The covetous psychopaths experience not only a deep and pervasive sense of emptiness, a powerful hunger for the love and recognition not received in early life, but also an insecurity that they perhaps really are intrinsically less than others, somehow deserving of life's marginal dispensations. Melania does not have true love in her life, and she tries to make up for this by being the sexiest woman alive. She blames the world for her predicament, not realizing that it is her total lack of inner beauty that is the problem. She even lies to herself, saying true love is a fairy tale, and that no man could genuinely love a woman who is not sexy, according to Melania's definition of sexiness. Why, Empress Gail does not have Melania's toned waist. Empress Gail does not have Melania's riches to maintain her beauty. Impossible that such a poor nobody and 62-year-old woman would outdo the powerful Melania, who has devoted her entire life to being the sexiest woman alive. Gail must die so that Melania can maintain her illusion that she is the paragon of sexual perfection and superior to Gail. Melania needs to believe that the men in Gail's life don't love her, that they use her and abuse her, because if true love really exists, then Melania's whole life has been in vain. So Melania believes that youthful beauty with a toned body and a pretty face is the main requirement to get a man's love or sexual interest, which she defines as love. Donald, being a weak narcissist, did not marry Melania for love, but to maintain his image. Melania knew this, but it was okay with her because she lied to herself that true love is a fairy tale. The mere fact that I have men who would die for me shatters her illusion and causes great inner conflict for her. She must continue to believe the lie that she's the sexiest woman alive to be happy. But the truth stares her down every time her mirror tells her that I am the sexiest woman alive. The only way she can be happy now is to kill me or lash out her rage at the world, because true love does exist and she doesn't have it. This makes her so furious. She would nuke the universe 3 times over in rage over it. She despises Donald, who she knows didn't marry her for love, but married her for lust and to maintain his image. It's just simply not fair, she feels. That stupid and innocent Gail attracts rich and powerful men who truly love her. Unfair! Unfair! Only a woman like Melania, who has devoted her life to being the sexiest woman alive, should have such adoration. She thinks by killing me, she can force the universe to make her lies the truth, because I will then be eliminated. And now her mirror will finally force her lie to become the truth, that she is the sexiest woman alive, that her lifelong obsession to be the sexiest woman alive in order to make up for not having love in her life has not been in vain. Now let's cover the moralist or saint aspect of Melania's psychopathy. This psychopath proclaims her high moral standing, and thus Melania has adopted the conservative Christian mantle, and other people, non-Christians, are seen as immoral. She wants justice for society. Hang 'em high, she says about the murderer, like Muslim Soleimani on the 6 o'clock news. She murdered this guy. These psychopaths may be found in the professions of school teacher, prison officer, religious leader or devout attendant, manager of an orphanage or hospital for the mentally ill, or similar jobs which require a morally responsible presentation. They may be very quick to exploit corrupt political or social situations as an excuse for being brutal and cruel. Political situations like those seen in Nazi Germany or apartheid South Africa, which supply a socially sanctioned way to enact their pathology. When this psychopath is not being watched, she often lies, cheats, schemes, corrupts, abuses, deceives, controls, manipulates, and torments, while portraying herself to be the morally upstanding victim when questions are asked. This psychopath is a consummate image maker and will flaunt all credentials and accomplishments. Melania claims to speak several languages fluently, probably a lie. She also claims to have a degree in architecture, another lie, often bullying his or her family into perfect presentation for the public in order to reinforce her position as a paragon of goodness, gaining admiration, attention, even glances from others, and evoking envy are central ploys. These morally compensated psychopaths cannot depend upon love because, like all psychopaths, they have a severe deficit in the area of emotion. Instead, their egos work out a moral system which is foolproof in any and every situation. The result, as paradoxical as it may seem, is usually a well-developed outward morality, but one woefully lacking in love. Such compensated psychopaths continually and at all costs uphold moral conventions, fanatically defending their moral systems. Were they to relax the hold on their moral code, the entire structure might well collapse like a house of cards, revealing their psychopathic nature. It is rather like cooking. A poor cook sticks assiduously to the recipe, while a gifted one can change this and that according to a momentary whim. This psychopath's saintliness or rigid morality, then, is a cover for an underlying grandiosity, immorality, and sadistic drive to power typical of many psychopaths.